Hey everyone, so this is the Apple Watch Ultra. Of course, as you can tell, I have the yellow Ocean Band on here. I really gotta say, these Ocean Bands are really, really nice. I think they're one of the heavier bands you can buy, but they're super comfortable though. So here are some likes and dislikes of the Apple Watch Ultra. And of course, this is my own thoughts and opinions. If you do not agree with me, be nice about it, but you can leave me a comment, of course. And overall, I will say this watch is really, really awesome. Then one other thing too, and I am more towards positive than I am the negatives of this watch. I think the positives outweigh the negatives. Now, too, I also have to say, I also am the Garmin Fenix 6X owner. That's the watch I've used for the last few years. Before that, I used the 5X for a couple of years. So I'm coming from the Garmin Fenix line, which has amazing battery life for those that do not know. A whole bunch of crazy. Basically, it's a very good sport watch, but an okay smartwatch. Where Apple Watch is, of course, kind of opposite of that. It's a really good smartwatch and kind of an sport watch. Hopefully that makes some sense. Alright, first let's start out with the goods, the likes. For an Apple Watch, this thing has really good battery life. They claim about 36 hours. I'd say you could probably go more than that. I know a lot of people have videos where they have gone more than that. But you can easily last a day and night with this watch. Compared to a normal Apple Watch, you can maybe go a day if you're lucky. And that is, I keep mine in always on display, which of course means when it is on your wrist, like right now it's going to turn itself off because it's not on my wrist. When it's on your wrist, the display with this face I have here, it goes all black. And then all you can see is the time, and then you can see this bottom stuff down here. Otherwise, the screen is all black. When it is on, like it is right now, I have jellyfish that come up here. It's really cool. But I keep it on, always on display, turned on. I have it tap to wake up, not to flip your wrist to wake up, but just tap the watch to wake it up. It will easily last me, I'd say, over 2 days. I'd say probably 2 days and 2 nights before I really need to charge it. But with that said, I do charge it up every day just because, just because. But for a very smartwatch, battery life is really, really good on it. Again, nothing compared to the Garmin, which will last a couple weeks. This should easily last you a day or two. And that's with exercising with it as well. My next like here is, of course, the display. So that is one beautiful display. And then, of course, everything is nice and bright and vibrant, being a smartwatch. The colors are just beautiful with everything. So the display is really, really good. And then, of course, it is made of sapphire, which is just like the Garmin Fenix line. At least the 6X sapphire I have is made of sapphire, which means it is going to be you basically cannot hurt the display whatsoever. The bezel around it you can, but the display itself is very almost indestructible. Next is the size. Now, of course, some people like the big watch, some people do not. I personally like the big watch. Again, coming from the 6X, Fenix 6X from Garmin. That's also a big watch. This, I would say, is actually even bigger. At least the display-wise, it's even bigger. I love big watches. Even though it's big, it still doesn't weigh that much. Of course, that also depends on your band. But it's nice, big, and it doesn't really weigh all that much. Especially if you put on a lightweight band, kind of like this one here. So the size to me is awesome. But of course, some people may not like that. That is up to you. Next, of course, is the smartwatch features on here. So, being an Apple Watch, you, of course, can receive and send phone calls, receive and send text messages. You can full-blown send out text messages like you would from a phone. Whereas, like the Garmin Fenix series, you can send out just quick replies. So, you already have the replies in the watch itself ready to go, and that is all you can send. With this, you can send out actual full-blown messages. Of course, this also has LTE if you want to hook it up to LTE. For Verizon, it is like $10 extra a month. And then you can just basically carry this thing as your phone and not need your extra phone with you. So smartwatch wise, of course, this thing is awesome. It's just like any other Apple Watch. It is amazing for that. And then one more thing here is actually an app that I have found and a lot of people use that work out, and that is Work Outdoors. And the reason for this for me is it actually has full-blown mapping on it, just like the Garmin Fenix does. So see here, you actually have a full-blown map. When you work out outside, you can actually have a map. You can see trails. You can see some trail names when you're out running or hiking or whatever. It has some street names on it, not all, but does have quite a bit of information. The app is amazing. It also gives you a lot more details than the native workout app that comes with the Apple Watches. Highly recommend checking that out. I think it's like $7 or $8 on the App Store, but it's a one-time purchase, and again, it is definitely worth it, especially if you go hiking or running outside. Then let's get to some dislikes. First off, I know other people mentioned this, at least from what I can tell, there is no way to lock the screen. So you have all these different things here, but there's no actual screen lock on it. The Samsung Watch, I believe, is the same way, but you just cannot lock the screen, which means you might accidentally hit things and might accidentally start up apps and do things like that on accident. I've not really had any issues so far with it in the week or so that I've had this watch, but it is something I really wish they would have done. You can turn on theater mode, which makes your displays turn off all the way, but I really wish they would have put in a screen lock or a lock button. Next, it has to do with the always on display. I am a big fan of watches that are always on. Like I said, I'm coming from a Garmin Fenix, which of course has always on display. Way different from this type of always on display. But I wish there was an easy always on display turned on and off button. Again, kind of like the lock button. Wish they had something down here. Yes, again, you can turn on theater mode, but that turns it off all the way. Turns off your flipping your wrist and whatnot as well, from what I can tell. So I wish there was just a button for always on display, easy turn on and turn off. So I believe the Samsung Watch has that. I believe most watches that are smartwatches like this have some sort of feature where you can turn that on nice and quick. Of course, you can go into settings and turn it off, but you know, one or two less steps would be nice. Next has to do with the fitness side of this watch, which again, of course, is the Ultra. So you know, they're calling it like the ultimate fitness device, but again, comparing to the Garmin, there are some things it is very much lacking. One of those things is the workout details. So I have a hike here, and for hiking, it's actually not too bad. But I do have a hike here. I'm going to show you guys on the phone. So here I did 2.9 miles. Your workout time, your calories, your elevation, your pace, your heart rate. And then it gives you a map, which is really cool. And this is using the Work Outdoors app. But you cannot edit this. From what I can tell, you cannot edit this in any way, shape, or form. From what I found online, you cannot really edit this whatsoever. If we go into the Garmin, which I was wearing at the same time, my Fenix 6X, gives you the distance, calories, time, all that good stuff. It actually even shows you even more on here. Shows you a crazy amount of different things. As you can see down here, it even tells you estimated sweat loss and stuff like that. It tells you a crazy amount of information. But the biggest thing, if I can hit this button correctly, is you can edit this activity on Garmin. You can change the name of it, you can add in some notes, and you can change the activity type, you can change your date and time. But the biggest thing is you can edit the distance. So if the distance was off for some reason, you can edit it. Or if you're going into an elliptical or an indoor run or something like that, where most likely the distance is going to be off from the watch itself because it's not using GPS anymore, you can edit the distance on Garmin. You cannot edit the distance on Apple's fitness app. Now there is a way around this using an app called RunGap. You can then import, or I guess export, data from the Apple Watch into Garmin Connect, and then you can edit it that way. But natively in the fitness app, there's no way to edit your distance or anything else. You get what you get with the watch, which is a little bit annoying. But again, you can do it with RunGap, which is a monthly fee though. That's not expensive. It's like $3 for 3 months, but it's still an extra step. Where Garmin is just, you can edit pretty much almost every detail you want to edit. Same thing goes with like strength training. Pretty much any exercise you do, you can edit on Garmin. You cannot edit in the Apple app. But again, all in all, I really do like this watch. It is an awesome watch. It looks really nice. It is nice and big. Of course, being Apple, you can find these Apple Watch bands pretty much anywhere you go. I mean, even Five Below has them for cheap. Again, Amazon has a bunch of them for cheap. And of course, being Apple, you can find accessories for Apple Watches like everywhere you go. All in all, I think this is an awesome watch. I wish there were those few minor details or dislikes I have. Well, some are not really that minor. I wish they would change. But again, you can, with like the details of, you can send it, you can export the data into a different app and then edit it that way. It's just something Apple should allow you to do in their watch app itself. So there are some things that are annoying. Same with like locking the screen. It's just kind of, some of it's basic, some of it isn't, that I wish Apple would implement, especially being an $800 watch. This is not a cheap watch. It's about the same, actually a little bit cheaper than the new Garmin's are. The 7X is now $1,000. You know, it's 800 with Epics too, which would be more similar to this. It's $1,000, but you get a lot more workout details on Garmin than you do through Apple, natively at least. Again, these are my likes and dislikes. Y'all let me know what you think. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you have a good one. I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye.